Before modern skyscrapers, credit cards, and ATMs, before Wall Street or the Federal Reserve, banking already existed. Thousands of years ago, in the dusty streets of Mesopotamia and the bustling forums of Rome, the first banks were born. These institutions weren't just about money, they were about power, trust, and the foundation of civilization itself. Today we trace the journey from barter to coins and finally to the first banks, a story that shaped the very world we live in. Long before banks, humans survived by barter. If you wanted bread, you might trade a chicken. If you needed sandals, you'd offer grain or honey. But barter had three fatal flaws: the double coincidence of wants. You had to find someone who wanted what you had and had what you wanted. No standard value. Was one cow worth 10 sacks of wheat or only 5? Every deal was an argument. No easy storage of wealth. Food rotted, animals died, tools wore down. Civilization was expanding, and barter simply couldn't keep up. Around 600 BC, in Lydia, modern-day Turkey, the first coins were minted, forged from electrum, a natural blend of gold and silver, and stamped with a royal seal. Coins solved many of barter's problems. Suddenly, trade became faster. Merchants could agree on value, travelers could carry wealth in their pockets, rulers could unify economies. But as coins spread across Greece, Persia, India, and China, a new problem appeared. Where do you keep your money safe? The world's first banking practices go back even further, to Mesopotamia nearly 4,000 years ago. Here, in the temples of Babylon and Sumer, priests didn't just worship gods, they acted as the earliest bankers. Farmers would deposit their grain in temple storehouses where it was safe and recorded on clay tablets. In return, they received a receipt. That receipt could be traded, effectively becoming one of the earliest forms of money. Loans were also born here. A farmer could borrow seed grain at planting season and pay it back with interest after harvest. The concept of credit and debt, ideas that still rule the modern world, began in these ancient lands. Fast forward to ancient Rome. By now, coins were everywhere, stamped with emperors' faces, flowing through trade routes that spanned continents. But handling coins was heavy, risky, and complicated. Enter the argentarii, Roman moneylenders and bankers. They set up shop in busy marketplaces and forums. Here's what they did: deposits. Citizens could leave their coins for safekeeping. Loans. They lent money for trade, travel, and even political campaign. This with interest. Currency exchange. Rome's empire was vast with dozens of local currencies. Bankers exchanged coins so trade could flow. Bankers kept records in ledgers just like today. They even offered a primitive form of checks, written orders that allowed money to be transferred without physical coins changing hands. Banks weren't just financial institutions, they were engines of power. In Mesopotamia, temples grew rich by lending grain with interest, fueling agriculture but also controlling farmers' fates. In Rome, powerful senators borrowed huge sums from bankers to fund political ambitions. A single bad harvest, a war, or an emperor's whim could collapse fortunes overnight. Banking had created something new, wealth on paper, not just in metal, but it also created risk, inequality, and even financial crises. Problems that echo through history to today. So what began with barter, a chicken for grain, evolved into stamped coins that fueled empires, and then into the first banks in Mesopotamia and Rome. These were the foundations of the global financial system. Temples of Babylon became prototypes of vaults. Roman argentarii became prototypes of bankers. Clay tablets became prototypes of receipts, contracts, and modern money. From clay to coins, from temples to banks, humanity had created a system bigger than any one person, and in doing so we set the stage for everything from the Medici banks of Renaissance Italy to the digital finance of today. The leap from barter to coins to banks wasn't just an economic change, it was a civilizational revolution. It taught us trust, debt, value, and power.